There were pretty ill-fated comments from Friedrich Merz saying that the Iranians were humiliating the White House negotiators and then criticising Trump for his ill-conceived strategy in Iran. And people might say, well, that's actually a fair point because the war is not going well. Gas prices are skyrocketing. The global economy is not doing very well. Donald Trump knows this. And so this sort of added fuel to the fire. Immediately then, Donald Trump said he was studying how to remove troops from Europe. He announced 5,000. And then the last few days has announced that he will remove even more than 5,000. There are around over 80,000 US troops across Europe, about 36,500 in Germany. It has to be said that Europe has been preparing for a drawdown like this, but not in this sort of confrontational way. Now, take a listen to him over the weekend. He was also asked whether he would do the same in Italy and Spain.
Why shouldn't I? Italy has not been of any help to us, and Spain has been horrible, absolutely horrible. And Germany, he's doing a terrible job. He's got immigration problems. He's got energy problems. He's got problems of all kinds. And he's got a big problem with Ukraine because they're in that mess. And he criticized me for doing the whole thing with Iran. But I said, would you like to have a nuclear weapon in the hands of Iran? He said, no, I don't. I said, well, then I guess I'm right.
A lot being said there. First of all, Italy and Spain. We know that Pedro Sanchez, the Spanish Prime Minister, has been very vocally critical of the war in Iran. But Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, was once known as the Trump whisperer. So it shows you that these relationships are transactional and very much temporary. And, he's criticising Friedrich Merz and the Germans, but at least they're allowing the US military access to their bases and the use of their skies for the war in Iran. But, overall, this is yet another diatribe, another confrontation between the US and its allies at a very particular critical moment in Ukraine.
And Shauna, in terms of this drawdown, 5,000 troops from Germany, what does that mean now for security and for NATO?
Well, this is the issue because speaking to NATO sources over the last few days, is they haven't been given any detail about what this will look like. Will it be a sort of a rotational issue where 3,000 troops are removed and they won't be replenished? Is it from a core group? Is it from the Air Force? They haven't got that detail. And we heard from NATO over the weekend saying that they're working with the US to figure this out. We heard from Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General, this morning. He's in Armenia at the European political community, saying that European allies have heard the message from Trump loud and clear. That is true, and they have been preparing for this. So Germans and other countries have bolstered their forces for the last year or so. So they're well prepared for this. 5,000 is manageable, but the question is how many more. But crucial to this, Marad, is that even in the last year, I spoke to a NATO diplomat. He said, we're preparing for a withdrawal of troops, but the worst case scenario would be if it happens out of the blue, without collaboration with NATO, and also if it comes after a phone call with Putin, which is exactly what happened here, almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's, Europeans are again sort of in a very, very difficult position with Trump.